Most athletes aim to wear gold, silver, or bronze when they compete at the Winter Olympics, but sometimes they wear less than they came in with, as the uniforms sometimes are not enough to keep up with the duration of the event. In this video, we'll talk about the 8 most famous sports wardrobe malfunctions. Make sure you stick with me to the end of the video. Without any further delay, let's get into it. How often do we see sports wardrobe malfunctions? Wardrobe malfunctions are expected at the Winter Games. Tight skate suits, baggy snowboarding apparel, and sharp blades lead to various clothing setbacks and consequences. Some wardrobe malfunctions can be played off, since they occur before or after an event. Others have gotten in the way of athletes in the heat of competition, leading to problems and, in some cases, perseverance. Viewers were stunned in March 2022 when ice dancer Karina Manta suffered a wardrobe malfunction during the Dancing on Ice 2022 finals. However, this wasn't the first embarrassing sports locker room malfunction, and not even the first for Manta Sport, which is often home to some of the most embarrassing clothing mishaps. Manta recovered in time to keep her modesty, but that's not often the case with ice dancers whose tops get disheveled. It's not just about ice dancing either. Athletes from all kinds of sports have suffered embarrassing wardrobe malfunctions that have left them in various states of undress in front of the public, and more often than not, on camera. I could have an entire list dedicated to rugby players who have ditched their shorts, surfers whose waves have left them clinging to their swimsuits, or wrestlers whose tiny trunks have been lowered to expose their but instead, I went for variety and included a myriad of sporting situations that would make anyone blush. I also weighed in on the awkwardness of each case, landing on a list of some of the most awkward sports wardrobe mishaps of all time. Now, in no particular order, let's get on to them. Starting off the list, we have Ricky Barons, who got sassy. Most male swimmers choose swim trunks because, despite their immodesty, they are excellent for speed through the water. Occasionally, a male swimmer will choose to wear a swimsuit, similar to what women wear when competing, which is what Ricky Barons did when he competed at the 2009 World Swimming Championships in Rome, Italy. During a qualifying round of the 4x100 meter relay, Barons tore his suit just as he was approaching the starting line, and when his case split in half from the back to the buttocks to the front, he was left dazzling everyone, all because of a simple stretch. Barron said at the time that he was freaked out for a second. He said he felt like the hole was almost to my knees. He felt like he was putting on a pretty good show. Fans weren't exactly complaining. If you've seen the photos, they're not unpleasant. But Barron's was a super young college student who was made uncomfortable by the incident. In 2013, he called it his most embarrassing moment, saying the suit was so tight, it took him 30 minutes to put it on. It's funny how it didn't take him 30 seconds to break the open road. The following wardrobe sports malfunction was when Yekaterina Rubleva spun her top. The Russian skater competed along with her partner, Ivan Sheffer, in the 2009 European Championships, which was held that year in Helsinki, Finland. Rubleva's wardrobe malfunction occurred in the middle of a pirouette. As Sheffer spun her around, her backless dress began to slide down and lower and lower. At the end of her spin, Rubleva's entire breast was out, something no doubt exacerbated by her need to raise her arms while skating. Then she had to keep smiling as she slid with her right fully exposed for the world to see. It's been nearly a decade and a half since Rubleva's dress failed her, but we've seen little progress in how female ice skaters are expected to dress when they compete. By comparison, male skaters almost always have full sleeves, full backs, and no cutouts, let alone tiny snaps and strings that connect vital clothing components. Next, we have Alvaro Marin, who showed off his buns while taking a bull. Chances are that that when someone mentions athletics, your brain's first stop isn't bullfighting. That said, it is a sport that requires great skill, a plethora of bravado, and a risk-taking attitude. After all, how many of us ordinary citizens would even attempt to come face-to-face with a wild animal, let alone one with horns and major attitude issues? Of all the risks associated with bullfighting, wardrobe issues also seem pretty low on the list, but that doesn't mean it can't happen or isn't uncomfortable when it does. Take Alvaro Marin, for example. Marin's wardrobe mishap happened during a bullfight, and the Colombian bullfighter made international news when his pants tore during the fight, exposing his buttocks. He tried to cover himself up a bit, though dodging the still angry bull took precedence over covering his cheeks. Finally, Marin was given a piece of cloth, which he made almost like a diaper, and when the bullfight was over, his caregivers gave him a pair of flowery swim trunks to cover up. The following sports wardrobe malfunction was when Rob Gronkowski's hit a guy's face. Rob Gronkowski, or Gronk as you may know, is such a brother that he probably wouldn't mind flashing his butt on TV. I am pretty sure of it, given that he posed for ESPN's Body Issue and a GQ photo shoot showing off his entire. This particular incident is on our list, not only because a chip or crack was exposed, but because of what happened right after, something that can only be described as uncomfortable. In football isn't much of an issue, as many players from Devin Hester to Tyson Jackson have had their tights pulled down on the field. However, Gronk's situation was different, because as soon as his were exposed, a player from the opposing team landed face first between those cheeks. And sure, Baltimore Ravens player Rashawn Melvin was able to take down Gronk, but that couldn't have been a nice takedown for either of them. That said, it wasn't all as awkward as when Gronk accidentally showed reporters inside a locker room. What about when Yura Mint's outfit fell apart? Yura, an American citizen with Korean roots, was competing in the South Korean team event at the 2018 Olympics when her entire outfit came undone. Everything was held together by a single hook, so Yura was left with no security at all when she snapped. Yura went from the beginning to the end without stopping, because she'd get a deduction if she stopped in the middle of a show. In an interview with USA Today, she made it known that all she was thinking was, is it better to stop and fix it and get the deduction, or move on? But somehow, she kept the front of her shirt on her body throughout the show, something her peers haven't always been able to do. Next up, when Henrik Harlow lost his pants. The loss of Henrik Harlow's pants didn't get us to see his but he got international attention and made him look dumb, which is why he made a list. It all happened when the Swedish skier participated in a qualifying round for the men's ski slopestyle event at the Sochi Olympics in 2014. His pants fell into the air, causing him to land in a nasty fall, showing off his clothes. Bright blue interior. I thought they were boxer briefs, but whatever they were, they didn't stop Harlow from smiling as he finished his ski. The subsequent wardrobe failure on our list was that of Jillian Cook. Speaking of pants malfunctions, bobsled racer Jillian Cook had some issues with hers during the 2010 Winter Olympics when they legit split open, but she took it in stride and jokingly said it was an excellent way to break the ice, especially with new teammates. She added that she was just so grateful she wore underwear that day. Wrapping it off, we have the case of Flavia Zoccari's swimsuit disqualifying her. Injuries aside, few things seem as devastating to a professional athlete as a locker room malfunction that could derail their performance and leave them exposed in front of an audience. But Flavia Zoccari's case is worse than usual, since her mishap with her clothes occurred before her competition and was so severe that she could no longer swim. With no time to find a solution, Zoccari was disqualified from competing, which for a professional professional swimmer is supposedly even worse than flashing her cheeks to the world. Flavia Zuccari was competing in the 200-meter event at the 2009 Mediterranean Games when her suit ripped, exposing her. To make the situation worse, the International Swimming Federation banned the outfit she was wearing at one point. Zuccari almost immediately began to cry, while at the same time, she tried to cover herself with her hand. That concludes today's video. If you found the video helpful, give us a thumbs up, and don't forget to share the video with your friends and family. See you next time.